Good morning. Hello. Welcome on back, you guys, to another episode. Booby is in a very playful mood today. Hi, handsomes. So, guys, for today's video, we are finally finishing our Final Destination little run through. We are finally to the very last film in the franchise also, which, listen, the original trilogy I love so much, but this new one honestly might be a close second in my opinion behind the third as to like best ones. It just it hit so many nails on the head, and I wasn't too sure about it when I first started watching. I think it took me about 30 or so minutes in before I was like, okay, I'm with this. Because I was like, are they changing it too much? It felt almost not like a Final Destination movie, in my opinion. The beginning of it very much feels like it. And then it takes such a hard shift in the usual kind of plot structure that we're used to. And I wasn't sure of that. I like it now. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this one. I think it's well worth the watch, and we will dive into it. So, Final Destination Bloodlines, released in 2025, directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein, written by Guy Busick, produced by New Line Cinema, and distributed by Warner Bros. Pictures. Now, the budget for this one was $50 million, again, which is, I think, a little more than the past ones where I think they were usually around 30 to 40 million. Box office wise, though, this one brought in a lot more than the last two, 273.2 million. So maybe we'll have some more in the future. If we can keep going with like this kind of a original plot structure, I'm here for it. So, plagued by recurring violent nightmares, a college student returns home to find the one person who can break the cycle and save her family from the horrific fate that inevitably awaits them. Alex Zahara plays Howard Campbell. Andrew Timpo Lee is Marty Reyes. Tony Todd reprising the role of William Bloodworth, and I believe this was his last role. As many of us know, Tony Todd did pass away, I believe complications of an illness. His scene made me cry, okay? What a beautiful send-off to such an icon. Breck Bassinger is Iris Campbell. Richard Harmon is Eric Campbell. Caitlin Santajuana is Stephanie Reyes. Tio Brimes is Charlie Reyes. Owen Joyner, Bobby Campbell. Anna Lore is Julia Campbell. April Tillet is Aunt Brenda. Rye Hilstead is Darlene Reyes. Gabriella Rose is Old Iris. Now, I might be missing some. There is a lot of pretty much like principal characters in this movie, which I'm okay with, but you're gonna watch me get confused. Diving right on in, you guys. In 1968, Iris Campbell and her boyfriend Paul attend the opening ceremony of the Skyview, a high-rise restaurant tower. As Paul proposes, Iris has a premonition of a chain reaction started by a coin, which results in a chandelier shard cracking the glass dance floor beneath the guests. But that while a gas leak ignites, collapsing the tower and killing everyone. Now, very rarely is there a movie where I cheer on the unaliving of a child. That sounds terrible. The little shithead in this movie. Oh my god, did he have it coming, that freaking piano. It was satisfying. Sorry. But what a grandiose, thing. It was scary and at the same time really almost traumatic. Once again, I'm thinking to that ring bit where she's literally hanging by the new ring on her finger. But no, like, how many people have probably been up in one of those towers? Like, it's obviously designed after the Space Needle. I mean, let's be for real. Oh, it just creeps me out. I don't do heights. She prevents the accident by taking away the coin from the child who had stolen it from the tower's fountain and managing to get people off the glass dance floor, which would have collapsed. I also think it's traumatic because we see the performer's son watch his mother, like, literally burn alive. It's graphic. They go hard in this opening scene, which I really appreciate. And it also feels like, obviously, there's CGI. Obviously. But we're at the point now where it's such a almost seamless, like, blend of the two. So I'm way less aggravated by it than, like, the fourth and the fifth movie, you know? I think it adds to what they're trying to do, but you can still very much tell there is practical effects in this, and the behind the scenes shots and whatnot that they did, a lot of practical effects. So we're going back to that kind of return to form almost. I would say this one seems very much kind of related to the third movie, or in the same breath as that one. It's very kind of camp and referential to itself while still creating newer, like, ideas. In the present, Iris's granddaughter, college student Stephanie Reyes, suffers from recurring nightmares about the collapse of the sky view. Realizing that the nightmares are linked to Iris, she returns home seeking answers and is greeted by her father, Marty, and estranged brother, Charlie. I'm also going to be honest, when you have this many principal characters and they all come in really quickly, I think we're also dealing with, like, distant relatives as well. It gets so messy in my head. I'm terrible with names, so I've watched this movie like 3 times now, and still I'm just like, I just know they're all somehow related. That's it. The siblings visit their Uncle Howard, Aunt Brenda, and cousins Eric, Julia, and Bobby. When Stephanie asks Howard about Iris, he explains that Iris subjected him and Stephanie's mother, Darlene, to an overprotective upbringing and became reclusive, causing Darlene to abandon the family. Brenda helps Stephanie find letters from Iris, which leads her to a fortified cabin where Iris now lives. Now, it's when we got to Iris where I was like, okay, I'm starting to fuck with this. Before I was like, this is confusing as shit. But I love the character of Iris, for one.
I've been dreaming about the sky view.
Kind of don't like her family. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she sounds crazy. I get that. But y'all are gaslighting the shit out of her. Making her think, oh, there's nothing to worry about. And truth be told, it was Iris living in isolation that kept them all safe all these years. Once she was gone, then it was lights out for everyone. Now terminally ill, Iris tells Stephanie she disrupted Death's design by preventing the tower's collapse, saving the lives of everyone there that night. As a result, Death began killing the survivors in the order they would have died at the Skyview, along with their respective descendants. Paul later died in an accident, prompting Iris to document Death's behavior in a book and live in isolation to protect her family. Not gonna lie, the book is kind of everything. It's like an agoraphobe's worst nightmare. But also, like, I just find it so fascinating. Ooh. I'd be like, new ways to give myself anxiety. Let's go. But it also, like, I enjoy, it's almost kind of like a friendly-ish relationship. It's definitely a love-hate relationship, I would say, between Iris and Death. Like, you see, it's almost like a cat and mouse back and forth.
I see you, you fuck.
Almost constantly. So Iris must get fucking exhausted, dude. Oh my god. Stephanie is skeptical, so Iris leaves the cabin to give her the book and allows herself to be impaled by a weather vane to prove her claims. It's kind of a crazy scene, but it really kicks off what I would say is like the main act, of the movie. And that works for me. After Iris's funeral, Darlene returns, but Stephanie resents her for being absent since childhood. Stephanie reads Iris's book and sees a reference to JB, who found someone that defeated death. During a family barbecue, a chain reaction causes Howard to be killed by a lawnmower. That one's brutal. There's also some red herrings in there. I will say this movie does a better job of like building tension. You're not really sure if it's going to actually lead to a gruesome death or if it's, just something that's going to like catch one of the characters off guard. Some sequences happen to characters and then they survive. So we really are kind of getting way more playful with it, I would say. And I love it for that. It didn't just reimagine itself. It like has completely repackaged itself and said, we are going to push it further and not rely so much on what we have already done. But they still take parts of those past movies, like the music sequences and whatnot. That very much still feels Final Destination, the camp factor of it. Stephanie studies Iris's book and explains to her family that death is coming for them in order of age, starting with Howard's branch of the family before moving on to Darlene's. I also kind of love the implications of this because, like, historically, there have been cursed families like the Kennedys. I don't know. I could even see them like going historically with it if they wanted to. I don't think it would be as, shocking and incredible as Final Destination is. But I do like that we're shifting perspectives more. Marty and Brenda are spared as they are not blood relatives. I'm gonna be so honest, Brenda, I can't remember what hers was. Marty, though, his was freaking crazy with the nose ring. Listen, obviously I felt like kindership. Is that the right word? Kinship to Marty's character. He was sitting in the tattoo shop tattooing himself, and just the sequence of events, crazy. You definitely think like, oh, he died, but we didn't see it on camera, and that I feel like is a dead giveaway for a Final Destination movie. If they did not die right in front of your eyes in the most gruesome way, then they're not dead. But him getting stuck by his septum ring, ugh! She warns Eric, who is next in the bloodline, but no one believes her. Again, gaslighting. Like, another chain reaction.
The fuck?
Causes a fire at Eric's tattoo shop. See? Terrible with names. It was Eric. Oh my god. But he survives due to his leather clothing. Stephanie and Charlie meet Eric on the road the following day to try and protect him, but Julia is then crushed to death by a garbage truck's compactor. That's a brutal one, but the behind the scenes of it looks so cool. But oh my god, it's just like... But once again, moving back to practical effects versus full CGI, oh, I love it. Stephanie is confused by death not following a chronological order, but Brenda confesses that Eric was the product of an affair and thus not a descendant of Iris. That's actually a pretty funny scene, not gonna lie. He finds out his dad and he's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Who's my real dad?
Jerry Fenbury.
Oh!
Darlene suggests visiting JB at a hospital, who turns out to be William Bloodworth. Present at the Skyview as a child and the last to die in the premonition, he was the small child whose mom was performing that night. He reveals that he has spent most of his life exchanging ideas with Iris to learn death's rules. Now, he was the mortuary in like all of the other movies, the mortician. He was the mortician in all the other movies, so like he would have that, that just catalog of information on death. And like we just got the perfect bow wrapped on the character of William Bloodworth. He explains to the family that there are two ways to defeat death: taking another life or dying and being revived, citing Kimberly Corman as a successful example. Retiring from his job as the mortician, Bloodworth leaves the hospital, expecting to succumb to his own illness after Iris' bloodline dies, and wishes the family luck before departing.
Enjoy every single second. You never know when.
When I tell you I was sobbing, I have never cried during a freaking Final Destination movie. Who would? Oh my god. They really stuck the knife in, fucking twisted it. Now, I knew he was in it, but I didn't know to what extent. And this was just, it breaks your heart, but it's also just the perfect send-off. And I also think it validated Bloodworth's character beyond just a trope in the franchise, which I greatly respect. Because while I never really saw Bloodworth as that, he definitely fulfills that kind of racial trope within horror movies. I think this does a better job to establish, like, this dude's behind everything. Eric convinces Bobby to employ Bloodworth's second strategy, giving Bobby a snack containing nuts to trigger a fatal allergic reaction and be subsequently revived. Crazy idea. It's like the worst way you can fucking go. The plan backfires when a malfunctioning MRI machine rips out Eric's piercing. So again, just like, ugh! They were like, you didn't get it in the first one. This one, though, yeah, we're gonna give it to you. Oh, and like all his piercings, too, if you catch my drift, he had other ones. Also, like, I don't know about anyone else, the nurse during that scene pissed me the fuck off. She's literally being led, like her lanyard is hanging out. Why wouldn't your first thought be something magnetic is on? Oh, MRI machine. Like, so rips out Eric's piercings, pulls him in, and impales him with a wheelchair. A coil from a vending machine is then launched and drilled into Bobby's head. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And it's like, boys, why didn't you see this coming? Despite Eric seemingly being safe, Stephanie reasons that his intervention trying to help Bobby put him on the list too. Not sure how we jumped to that conclusion, but Stephanie, Charlie, and Darlene decide to drive to Iris's fortified cabin, intending to hide from death. The RV crashes, and Stephanie's seatbelt jams. The cabin explodes after a chain reaction, sending the RV into water as Stephanie begins to drown. Darlene saves Charlie and pleads with him to rescue Stephanie before a lamppost bisects her. Honestly, these last few deaths were really more emotionally charged. Like, we've seen this family get brought back together through the trauma of death and grieving. And here they are just being ripped apart again as they finally begun to, like, mend those things. Charlie breaks the seatbelt and successfully resuscitates Stephanie with CPR. The siblings assume they have cheated death as Charlie has brought Stephanie back to life. 1 week later, the father of Charlie's prom date tells the siblings that Stephanie's heart never stopped, meaning she was not dead when Charlie revived her. Soon after, another chain reaction started by the same coin as in Iris's premonition derails a log carrying train into the neighborhood. And its cargo crushes and kills Stephanie and Charlie. What a crazy ending. Honestly, it's so random that, like, usually something like that would probably piss me off, but it's such a crazy ending. Comes out of nowhere. And it's just so great. And honestly, I know it sounds cynical. It's what you want to see with a Final Destination movie. No survivors. But yeah, you guys, as of now, 2025, that is the final chapter in the Final Destination franchise. If they come out with more, I will be more than happy to review those ones as well, because I love this series. And what made me love it before was like my strong love for the original trilogy. This one, though, now, like, honestly, get rid of the fourth and fifth one, put that on the end of the original trilogy, and it is almost a masterpiece. I mean, for slasher, just kind of mainstream horror, it's so good. Even if this is the last one, I think it's really, in high school, we were told, like, finish like a gymnast, finish really strong, land that pose, hit your mark, and don't show if, there was any hiccups along the way. This movie really does that. But I want to know your thoughts, guys. I feel like it's going to be a little divisive. I haven't watched any other opinions on it. I try not to do that until, I actually get to filming the video for y'all. Just because I don't want to... So I don't know, necessarily how people feel about it. There is fanfare to it, which... I know people are on the fence about that. It's like a cheap way to get people to like something. But I feel like this movie genuinely is really great behind, like, the heart of it. They had to do something for Bloodworth. They had to include his character, or for his character to just not get a send-off at all would have been so inappropriate. So I'm just happy that this happened when it did, and Tony Todd was able to once again just leave such an iconic mark on a horror franchise. That's the thing too, he's so iconic. Arguably the face of multiple franchises. It's just, what a legend, rest in peace. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts, guys. Did you enjoy the movie? Did you not enjoy it? If you didn't, that's totally fine. I'm not here to argue on anyone. It's art. It's entirely subjective to your own personal liking, your own personal baggage that you carry. And that's what I find so beautiful about it. So let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day, great rest of their week. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.